Prowler is a performance airplane. That's all one of the easiest ways to describe it, and that is it flies like a little fighter. It's pretty light on the controls, and it isn't an airplane that you can trim it up and take your hands off and just sit there and watch it. It's something that you have to fly like any performance airplane. You have to fly it all the time. It actually flies just about the way it looks. It flies like a mini P-51. For its size, it's nearly wonderful. It's really fun to fly. There are quite a few people that would like to fly in their spare time and be able to fly a performance airplane without having to buy and pay for a P-51 or something that costs so much money that it takes all that joy away from it. There are, I think, quite a few people who would like to be able to come out and fly an airplane like this on weekends or once or a couple of times a month and get their enjoyment of flying just from doing that. Then I think there are other people that could use this airplane for point-to-point transportation. If they want to get from somewhere, point A to point B in a hurry, you'd spend very few hours in the air because of its cruising speed. Prowler burns about 14 gallons an hour, and at a cruise of between 2 and 250 miles an hour, you could figure out miles per gallon real fast that it's pretty efficient. Whenever you land at an airport, it doesn't matter, even an airport you've been landing at regularly, you still will get people that are walking around on the ramp will want to come over and either watch you taxi by or taxi in, and if you stop and get out, they always want to walk up and be friendly and talk. But what they really want to hear you say is how much fun it is to fly. And usually when I tell somebody that way, they'll grin real big and say, I bet it is fun to fly, because it is just what they see, and it's a sport plane that's just really a sleek beauty,
Well, when I designed the Prowler, I was looking at World War II airplanes like replicas and so forth, and I really didn't see any replicas that I liked because you just can't scale them proportionately with people in them. And so I wanted an airplane that would do 200 miles an hour, and cruise at 200 miles an hour, and look like a replica, but wasn't a replica still, and where it had all the characteristics of some of the World War II fighters. And so there's a little bit of Spitfire, a little bit of 51 Mustang, and a little bit of 109 Top View, and a little P-40, all those famous fighters that was such beautiful airplanes, yeah. And so it was just best for us to go to a new engine that was currently available with all the parts, like the Chevrolet small block, and then go after a Rodent block and aftermarket block, which is much stronger, and we needed the wide block type for sealing the oil in the block so it wouldn't leak out. The engine looks like an aircraft engine now, with the gear reduction on the front and all the accessory drives on the back, which is part of the motor mount and everything. That's worked out. Everything runs half engine speed except for the alternator, and the alternator runs crankshaft speed. The dual ignition's got two distributors. Right now, way I have set it up on the other one and this one here is two distributors going to a single set of spark plugs. You can fly on both distributors or fly on either one. So I set it up to start it on the right and switch to the left for a check, and then I fly on both distributors at a time. The fuel injection on the new engine is working out really well. It's Airflow Performance out of South Carolina. I think it's better than what the pressurized carburetor was. We've got the two radiators in each wing, and then the oil coolers are mounted up underneath the engine in the engine compartment. So you got air coming in from underneath the propeller through the oil cooler, hitting the engine and going out by the exhaust stacks of the engine. We control the air going through the radiators with the door on the outlet side. All you have to do is watch your coolant temperature gauge to open it or close it. On these real hot days, flying slow, you leave the radiator doors open. When you get up to speed, you close them, and you got more air going through it, and that makes a difference. And there's about a 20-degree change. And believe it or not, you get up to speed and close them, the jet effect out of the radiators almost offsets the drag. I would say that overhauling this engine, you're probably talking about $1,000. A lot of them is standard parts, and they're just not certified where they have to charge so much money for it. And of course, there's a lot more parts being manufactured and produced than what there is aircraft parts, and that makes a difference too. We do all the preforming, all the welding, and all the machine work. That's some of my philosophy that I wanted to see in a kit, that those 3 items was done. Because there's builders out there that takes them a lot longer if they have to go look up somebody to have something machined, or if they have to go and have somebody weld something, because they're not machinists or welders, and also to bend something. So with those 3 things, getting those 3 things like that makes it much easier for a person to put one of these airplanes together. What we do is take some soft pop rivets and put in, and then they can just drill those out. And when they go to clean them all out, dimple it, and deburr and all that kind of stuff, prepare it ready, get it prepared ready for riveting. You're buying everything. You're not just buying some metal and where you have to go out and get your own rivets and bolts and fit and all that kind of stuff. We try to make a complete package deal that includes the engine and the propeller, the canopy. Most kits don't include the canopy. You have to go to an outside vendor to get a canopy. We have the airplane in 6 kits now. We start them off on the empennage and get them building that, and then they can give them plans for the wing jig. They can get that together, and then they start building their wing, and then the next kit comes in, which is also part of the wing and landing gear. Then a fuselage kit and canopy, engine kit. It depends upon the builder how fast he wants to make payments and how fast he wants to work. Yeah, a guy's in a real hurry, but we can get things out to him faster and faster.
I like to enter into a rolling maneuver from a little bit above maneuvering speed for an airplane, so the control surfaces work easily. So I like, in the Jaguar, that's around 140, 150 miles an hour. I pull the nose up generally just a little bit, a trifle above the horizon, and that way I don't have to worry about giving it any negative movement of the stick when I'm upside down. I'll settle for the nose dropping just a little bit and end up level with the horizon, or maybe just slightly below, kind of split the difference. In an aileron roll, you just whap it over and go around real fast, and with a barrel roll, if you're trying to make it a coordinated thing, keep the ball in the middle, you have to do it a little slower. It's a pretty maneuver, more so than anything else. For a loop, I would enter probably about 225 minimum. And that way I end up upside down on the top of a loop, probably with about 120 an hour. A lot of good maneuvering, all the control surfaces are working real good at that speed. And just bring it on around. And you can go ahead and pull a couple of 2 or 3 G's and until you get the nose up on the horizon, put the power on, and go on about your business. It's exciting to fly. I think there's a little bit of pride or a little bit of ego involved because it's really fun to not just be involved, but when we display the airplane, it's fun to talk to the people because there are so many questions to answer. People are always so enthusiastic about it, and it's because they, could hardly believe that they could ever get to the point of having one or flying one. They always want to talk about it as if that would be a possibility in the future. Everybody has dreams.